Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 115th episode of the Timing Research Show for December 5th, 2016. My name is David Kosmeter. I'm the creator of Timing Research, and today we will be discussing the 167th weekly report. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at this yet, just go to TimingResearch.com/reports, and you can download this or any past report there. I have Rob Hanna back hosting today, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him.
All right, thanks, David. I got some new guests here to me today, which will be exciting for me, and some guys I already know from past shows or from meeting in the past. So, again, I'm Rob Hanna of InvestiQuant. Also, you might know me from Quantifiable Edges. Quantifiable Edges is a site that's been around since 2008 or so. Focuses on quantitative research. Primarily with swing trading, and then InvestiQuant was formed a few years ago as a combination of Scott Andrews' Master the Gap site and my Overnight Edges site, and it deals with intraday trading, overnight trading, and swing trading, also all quantitative based. So that's kind of a intro to me. I've been around for even longer than that, though. I used to write for Trading Markets back in like 2002, 2003. I've been trading full-time since 2001. So I am in the market on a daily basis and putting on positions and taking them off all the time, as are all of our guys here. And I'm pleased to say we've got Mark Dannenberg of OptionsMoneymaker.com, Simon Klein of TradeSmartForex.com. Fausto, I know we've talked before, and I know I'm going to mess up your name again. I got the first one right. Pugliese?
Fausto. You got it.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. All right.
Pugliese, you got it.
Oh, Pugliese. Pugliese. All right. I was close.
Those parents, they got all those messed up names.
And then Michael Filighera?
Yes.
Okay, of LogicalSignals.com. So why don't we start off? I want to give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves. You can tell us a little bit about yourself and your site, a little background, and then once we all know who each other are and our guests know who we are, then we can go in and jump into the questions. So I'll go from top to bottom of my list. Mark, would you like to start off and tell us about yourself and OptionsMoneymaker.com?
Sure. I started trading about 30 years ago when I still had a full-time corporate job, and always had a passion for finding a way to achieve what I call financial freedom, not just financial freedom, but lifestyle freedom. And I started to trade, and I learned my way through the markets over the years. And about 10 years ago, I started to trade full-time when I left my corporate gig. And I started to teach other traders how to do the same thing for two reasons. One is my social network and my work network, when I left my job, asked me what I was going to be doing, and I explained in short, and they asked how they could do that too. So it kind of evolved into a way to help other people learn how to trade and do so, and shortcut some of the difficult learnings I had in my early days. I wished I'd had a coach like we provide coaching for our clients back in the early days. But anyway, so we've put together a company with a team of traders who help clients every single day. We host a live trading room every single day, and we're teaching brand new traders as well as experienced traders who may want to just relaunch their trading. And we hope to teach them the art of trading and take all the fear and apprehension out of it. We're entirely focused on options trading, and we focus extensively on trading options on the major indexes like S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, and Russell 2000. So that's how I got here, and I have the benefit of having lifestyle freedom. I get to live wherever I want and work from wherever I want, and that's a huge, huge benefit to me. And I have a lot of clients that are trying to achieve the same thing, and that's why we love working with them.
Hey, Rob, I think you're muted.
You're right. I was muted. Sorry about that. I wanted to take a drink of coffee and I didn't want to slurp in everyone's ear, so I muted myself and then I forgot to unmute myself. Mark, thank you for that intro there, and welcome to the show. Simon, why don't we go to you, and can you tell us a little about yourself and Trade Smart Forex?
Okay, hi everybody, this is Simon Klein speaking. I'm a professional trader, been trading full-time since 2005. I actually started out my professional career at Credit Suisse in both London and New York, but not on the trading floor. I actually started off working in product control, financial control on the computer side of things. And then I actually got offered a job, I think in 1998 on the trading floor. So I took that job working in portfolio and risk analysis in emerging markets. So I got interested in trading by watching, I was working with the traders there. And I started TradeSmartForex.com around 2 years ago now, but I've been training traders in the limelight, like out of the public eye, so to say, for many years, like for around also about 10 years. So people came to me and asked me to train them. So over the years, I've trained quite a number of people on to become successful traders. Also had the pleasure to train people who work in institutions as well. So I've trained a number of people that work in Wall Street firms that came to me privately to ask me to train them. So basically we have a program, a complete program that will train you from complete beginner to professional trader. And you can actually come in at the beginning. We teach you how to read the market as the first stage to become a professional trader. If you're trading from a technical perspective, is to learn actually how to read the charts, to know where the odds are. I'm primarily a price action trader, so we learn how to read where supply and demand is in the markets, how to read the trend, understand where we are in multiple time frames to identify high probability trading scenarios. The next stage would be to teach people actually how to run a trading business, what goes into that from having a trading plan, trading log, trading journal, and actually how to use that together in the right way. The process to go through once you've got that framework in place. And then what I do differently to, I think, a lot of companies out there that are training people is I work one-on-one with most of my clients and most of the traders to develop with them a trading plan that fits their personality and lifestyle. So everyone's different. It's not a one plan fits everyone or one strategy fits everyone. Just because it works for one person doesn't mean another person's going to be able to do it. So it's a lot of working one-on-one with people to actually help them go through their development to become a successful trader.
Sounds good, Simon. Do you focus primarily on Forex, or do you get into stocks, options, futures?
I started my trading career trading US equities, New York Stock Exchange, and then I moved into trading NASDAQ stocks, and mostly in the NASDAQ 100. And in the past, I think around 5 or 6 years, I've focused primarily on Forex.
Okay.
And I also look at the futures a lot as well.
Okay. All right, good. Well, I think we'll have some different perspectives here because we got guys that look at a number of different things. Fausto, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Cyber Trading University?
Yeah, thanks a lot, and Robin, welcome everyone being here. Hopefully everybody's been having an exciting election. It's been a crazy market. A little bit about myself. I've been on the show several times. My name is Fausto Pugliese, president and founder of Cyber Trading University, one of the original SOES bandits that started back in 1995, one of the first schools in the industry that kind of monetized the education in a way. Being a great trader, saw an opportunity out there, how uneducated people were. People asking me and kind of do both. So started school back in 6 after a year of seeing the failure rate. And preferably what I do is I'm more of a day trader. I run a professional trading room. I have a few hundred traders that are subscribed in my trading room with my staff. I have other we also not only, but we also do a lot of education, teaching people how to trade. I do a little bit of swing trading, very low options, specifically to day trading because I like to sleep at night. That's my way I look at it. But traded, tens of thousands of people, travel around the world. 12-time world champion in all the traders competitions. But now on my spare time, I trade every morning with my students and my traders, and then do these great events, kind of educate everyone here because, like we're all here, the reason purpose of it is that, it is a very big failure rate, and you have to learn what you do, and that's why we all enjoy doing it, and that's that's where we're at. So sit back and enjoy the show, and thanks a lot for having me again, Rob.
All right, thank you. Good to see you again. And Michael, want to give us a little bit of background on yourself and logical signals?
Sure. My name is Michael Filighera. I am based in San Francisco, which is where I live. I started trading in 1979. I was a member of the Pacific Stock Exchange on the options trading floor, and that's what started my career and actually started my trading. I was an options trader. I have traded on the Pacific, and I've also traded on the London traded options market, the European Options Exchange in Amsterdam, and also the DTB. When I traded on the DTB, it's an all electronic exchange, and that's what introduced me to electronic trading versus floor trading. And also, I moved over into trading the Bund future and the DAX future. So I got more into just trading futures versus adding options. When I came back to the US, I went back to the Pacific. So basically continued to trade options and equities. When the floor started to go all electronic, I switched over and just left the floor and just started trading from my home, and eventually realized that I still wanted to trade volatility. And so I moved out of options and into futures. As more and more HFT firms were coming online, I realized that to really participate, it became much easier for me and my style of trading just to kind of switch over to futures and go and be a day trader. Logical Signals is my website, which really came about because I tried to retire and that was not successful. People kept coming back and saying, hey, can you help me? Hey, can you teach me? Hey, can you show me how to do that? What do you do? And so I got pulled back in, and as one person said, gee, might be a little bit like Michael Corleone because he, they keep but actually I enjoy it. I enjoy the teaching part. I enjoy helping other people and to learn. So when I started Logical Signals, it's where I put my analysis, put my posts of what I think is going on in the market, but also it's where my trade room is. So I have a trade room as well. And I limit the number of people in the trade room because we trade. That's the whole purpose. We're there. So I try to form what I was accustomed to in terms of having a trading pit of people where you exchange ideas, you exchange strategies, and also trades. So I started the trade room, and so I offer through the trade room, I also have written several algorithms, and they're really in the form of auto traders. And so I have an auto trader that we use, and it's broad-based, so it can be used in any market. And the signals are really generated because of my study and my life works have really been in volatility, probabilities, and statistics. Combining the three, I've come up with what I consider to be a good auto trader. Throws solid signals and is totally customizable. And also within the website, and I also offer coaching. So very similar to what other guests have spoken about. I think it's real important that traders who decide that they want to become full-time traders and earn their living from trading need to really put down some plans. They need to have a business plan, they need to have a trading plan, etc. And so it's good to know that there are more people such as myself and others guests who actually provide that, so that we're giving traders the ability not to really be falling back into the bigger houses, the brokerage houses, but they really do become an independent trader.
Yeah, I agree. It's important that people treat this as a business and not a game, right? You want you blow up in some video game, you just add some new lives, right? You blow up your account, it's a lot harder.
That's true.
So, all right. Well, let's get to the questions. We got quite a few. We've got people looking at things from a lot of different angles here, so that's going to be great. And Michael, since you're already on the horn, let's start with you. Wondering for this week, what direction you think the S&P will move from today's open till Friday's close, and then if you could rate your confidence.
I am saying higher, and I'm giving about a 60-65% probability. And I base that on that I think we've now just moved into, we've kind of gotten through that election, and they still wanting to tie things that are happening to that effect. And that may be some of it, but I think we're into year end. And I think a lot of hedge fund managers and portfolio managers are looking to lock in profits and close out, hopefully, what could be a very good year for them. So I say higher.
Okay. All right. And you had a 60 to 65% probability on that. I think you said. Fausto, let's go to you. You agree, higher or lower? And how confident are you in your?
Well, I mean, I've been here for a while. I've been doing this for such a long time that, the Dow is trading and the S&P is trading no different than any typical stock. When you break all-time highs, it's like I kind of teach, it's like breaking through the roof of a building. Where's the next resistance? There isn't any. So you're in what's called uncharted territories. So, I mean, we saw what happened what happened with the election. I was actually on the show, when I was on the show last time, I told everybody, that you can have a big, if there's a Hillary election or a Trump election, you're going to have, one of them's going to be volatility. And sure enough, a lot of people, you could see it actually happening right now. So I see it, now if you're hearing, I don't know how much everyone's following what's going on with Trump's tax plan, but with his tax plan, if it's true what he's trying to do with corporate tax and what he did with carrier, I see the Dow really taking off a lot, because they're going to probably make deals, and like everything else, I tell everyone, against or any other educator, it's not a political thing, it's a trading thing. So you just got to take it for what it is. I mean, unfortunately, some of the biggest catastrophes were some of our biggest profitables that we ever have. So you got to look at some of the opportunity that's going on right here, and I think it's going to go a lot higher. I mean, I'm like, I'm saying 65-70%. I mean, and one thing I do want to make a comment of, and regarding about everyone here, because a lot of people are sitting down there and sitting on their hands and they're just watching this Dow keep going up. Listen, you got to cut your losses. Okay, a lot of people are in positions right now that they're taking losses in positions, and they're seeing this rally go right in front of them. You got to move on and go on. Get rid of your dogs and start running with things that are going up. Banks are doing amazing. You look at Bank of America today taking off. You saw what just happened in Italy. With the vote, and so with Brexit, I mean, and by the way, I tell everyone this: don't blame our election. It all started with Brexit, and it's going to trickle down all over Europe. So just all I could tell you is make sure you just profit from it.
All right, sounds good. So we got two higher. Simon, you going to argue with him?
Yeah. Hi.
You looking higher or lower? And
you can see my screen here, yeah. Everyone can see my screen. So basically what happened today, this is today's bar on the daily chart. I can make it bigger. I identify a demand zone over here. So the market actually gapped down right in here, and we've moved up the whole day so far. Pretty strong bar. We compare it to what's happened recently. Yeah, it's the biggest bar so far over the past Yeah. So again, I don't see any reason why it should go down at the moment. So pretty strong move up. Definitely institutional buying going on there. Doesn't look like a top yet. So we could, if we look on the monthly chart, especially, look at again, we're in, as Fausto said, we're in uncharted territory here. And the only reason why we would go down is maybe if the trend changes. It doesn't look like it at the moment. So I'd say higher for the time being.
Okay, great. So we got 3 higher. Mark?
Well, I would say that we're probably in the next few days going to go higher, but in a very, very short term, we're going to start heading lower, I believe.
Okay.
And I say that because we take a look at a lot of technical factors on our charts. We've got a variety of chart tools that we use, but when we really simplify it down to things such as S&P trading just below its all-time high, we consider all-time high to be a bit of a natural level of resistance, and we formed a new all-time high on SPX on the 25th of November. So I'm looking at that plus a 2-year level of resistance. So there's a slightly uptrending level of resistance that's been in place for 2 years. We've not been able to break above that level of resistance. We're trading right now at 2205 on SPX, and that resistance level is right around 2215. So I think we could possibly go a little bit higher. I don't see a tremendous amount of upside. There's not a lot of runway in front of us, and I'd attach about a 75% confidence level to that. But I think in the long run, we're probably going to see a retracement, at least back down to a level of support that would take us back down around the probably the 2175 range.
Okay. So you mentioned 2215 as a possible resistance level around that area. Are you using a long-term trend line for that? Is that what you're?
I'm using a long-term trend line. That's a 2-year level of resistance at about 2215. Okay. And like I said, in the last 2 years, we've not broken above that trend line.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So Mark is saying higher maybe for a few days, but then lower. So that's about as bearish as we're getting right now. I'm not going to throw too much of a argument at the group here. I am torn on this week. We have a lot. I'm seeing a few indications that are conflicting. The weakest among them is seasonality is poor this week. It's not a great week from a seasonal standpoint, and that is hurting some of the odds that are published at InvestiQuant. But we have had a pullback and an uptrend, and that's what we're moving out of right now. For instance, I looked at a study a few days ago that looked at the fact that the S&P closed below its 10-day moving average for the first time in more than 15 days. So it spent I think it was 17 days or 18 days above it, and then it closed below it for the first time after that. Typically, when you see that persistent of a move higher, it's unusual that the first close down below it is going to be the end of the trend. So you'll often get a bounce and then another new high. And what you'll see if you're going to get a top is a weakening before the ultimate top. So I think we've got a little higher to go. We do have some risks this week. I think as we get further into December, stronger seasonality is more likely to come into play. OPEX week in December has been a great week for the market over the years. And then we get into Santa Claus rally, Christmas week, the week between Christmas and New Year's often been a good time period as well. So we're moving into that second half of December in about a week and a half or so, and that's when we're gonna start seeing strong seasonality kick in. Interestingly, a lot of the strong seasonality in the second half of December has come at night. So when I've broken it down by day versus night performance, the night has carried most of the returns going back to 2000. If you're looking in the spiders, so that's something where this Santa Claus rally, this, or whatever you want to call it, rarely is catchable by day traders, because the gap up happens at night and then you get some wiggling, or it's not as reliable during the day. So for swing traders, for overnight traders, it's something that you can really look to take advantage of. Day traders haven't had don't have quite the edge that overnight and swing traders do in that second half of December. Not to say they don't have their own edges that they can't play, but they don't have the same seasonal edge normally. So those are the things I'm looking at. Let's just go back quickly through. If you want to add any color to your predictions from before. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't give a number to mine. I'm going to use the InvestiQuant 5-day odds, which is what I often do, which say about a 54% chance of a close higher, but low confidence, and that's because the average profit factor when looking at it is below 1, just slightly. So that means we've got a decent chance of a close up, but risks are higher than potential reward right now at the point the market's at for the next 5 days. Like I said, once we get beyond that, I think we'll be ready to go a little higher. So, Mark, if there's anything you're looking at this upcoming week that you think will impact your outlook, if you could let us know, if you could talk to us a little bit about that, that'd be great.
Well, there's nothing in particular coming up this week that we would be focused on. So what we do at Options Moneymaker is we, as much as possible, try to straddle the market. We trade a lot of spreads, first of all, because we can put our spreads out of the money, so it has a forgiveness factor in it, and even if the position moves against us, initially we have an opportunity potentially to turn that position into a profit. So when I look at short-term assessment of an index like SPX, I am not too focused on whether or not I think it's going to go higher or lower. I mean, I always have an opinion about that, but I tend to weight my positions and guide my clients through the alerts that we send in our live trading room to the longer term view, because I want to be on the right side of the trend. And what I see right now, if I focus on the week, is I'm talking about a cycle, not the trend. And I personally think we're in a rising cycle, and I do think that we could finish the week higher. But I think overall we're starting to form, we're seeing the beginnings of the formation of a new declining trend. And again, that's because I see us coming off of a 2-year resistance, off of a new all-time high on SPX, and we're starting to see some bearish divergence in the SPX daily bars. So where we take advantage of that is we're either going to take a neutral position, where like an iron condor, or we're going to take a credit spread that's placed well above SPX's all-time highs, or the all-time highs or Bollinger Bands, outside the Bollinger Bands on the other indexes. So again, just to kind of summarize, I'm very focused each day on short-term and long-term charts. We look at 3-minute charts all the way up to weekly charts, and we'll assess where we believe the short-term trend is, but we keep an eye on where the short-term cycle is, but we keep an eye on the long-term trend, so that we can hopefully be on the correct side of the trend. And we may be in the trade a little bit longer, but we're not day trading. We're placing a trade, and we'll probably be in that trade for maybe 5 days or so, and then cycle out of it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mark. Simon, anything upcoming this week that that might get you to change your outlook on the market, or key technical levels or fundamental events that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, just to go back to the chart again, just to one thing that people believe about the market is you need to know what the market is going to do to make money. No one knows what the market is going to do. There are probabilities that in certain scenarios in the market that are higher probabilities than not. It doesn't mean the market's going to do that. But what we do as professional traders have a control over is what we do. So I'm very much look at the market in a conditional way of thinking. If the market does this, I'm going to do this. And if the market does something else, I'm going to do something else. So again, if we take that thinking to, and I'm looking at the E-minis here as a view on the S&P 500, the futures. If we take a look here, so I would say something like this. If the market manages to break new highs here, then we're likely to continue higher. And if not, then we're likely to go down. If we break below this level here, we're likely to continue down to the next demand level below. And if not, we're likely to go up again and maybe go sideways. So those are the kind of possibilities of where the market is likely to do. Now, depending on where the market is situated, what the scenarios in the market, the probabilities are different. At the moment, it's not a high probability to actually buy right up here because you're buying after a move up in price. Whereas earlier on today, down in, if you look down on the 15-minute chart down here, or even on the hourly chart, this was a higher probability buy area. So it's not just where you think the market's going to be at the end of the week. It's how are you going to enter? How are you going to trade that? How are you going to manage your risk? What potential return you have for that risk? So now I wouldn't say it's a high probability entry point into that trade if you think it's going higher. Down here would be, and then you can manage your risk accordingly. So you can be in, you know, you can potentially have taken profit out already and have almost no risk on the trade. And if it does break to new highs, you can maybe add to the trade. So that's how I would look at it in a more, you know, in a more rounded way.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Simon. Fausto, any color to add on your outlook for the week? Things you might be looking at this upcoming week, or that might impact that outlook?
Well, just like I said earlier, I'm still, you know, working on the Trump effect to see if he can have another carrier surprise, and like meaning he's going to. I mean, you know, this is a opportunity that comes once every 8 years. The last time this happened, obviously, was with President Obama. We had. Now you're having it with Donald Trump, and you know, and obviously you could see we're getting a lot of that effect. I mean, listen, we killed it regarding with the shipping companies. You saw what happened with dryers and EC and DCIX and Ship. I mean, these things were up almost 2,000%. I mean, dryers went up $5 to $120 in like 3 days. A day trader's dream. You know, yeah. I mean, people like, you know, you trade them, like, yeah, and thank God, and like they think you still have it. And like, this is what day trading's about. So there's great opportunities out there. So not only am I expecting, you know, as long as there's no big surprises, God forbid, no terrorist attacks or anything like that, or, you know, we'll have a little bit of a correction. But if we're still having the same old's been happening in the past 2 weeks, just, you know, I'm just constantly having my ears glued to the TV, seeing if there's any spontaneous reaction to what's going on hires and stuff like that. I'm not going to follow earnings announcements because a lot of what's going to be happening, obviously, it's not going to affect probably to the next quarter. But if we are going to get this Trump effect where he doesn't want these corporations to leave, and he says he's going to do these tariffs 35%, you could see, and he does offer corporate tax reform, something that we haven't seen probably in our lifetime. I mean, the last time we saw that was probably, you know, with Ronald Reagan, but it could change the outlook of a lot of how these companies work, and I think it could be good for the market. From what it looks like, the market does like it. So. The next week, because and it's probably going to be happening all the way up to Noriega, you know, until he gets in office. So just keep your eyes on. But my big thing also I just want to throw in there is that just focus on anything you hear regarding about industries. This is what my traders are looking at right now, and we work together like a team on this in the trading room. If you hear anything that they're trying to target regarding certain industries, if it's the coal industry, if you hear anything like the Keystone Pipeline, you've heard that went didn't go through, that will affect it. You know, there's stocks that will react to those things, and that's what day traders are focusing on. Just like how oil traders are focusing on what just happened. You saw what happened with oil just this past week. We had a huge correction in oil, and boom, next day the thing popped about $5. Now we went from like $40 to 52, where it is right now. Looking at, so that's what I would focus on. But just keep a close eye on the news and what's coming out. Okay, great. And Michael, I'll give you a chance to expound upon your initial answer of the 60-65% chance of move higher this week. Are there other things you'll be looking at this week beyond what you talked about a while ago?
The answer to the question on higher or lower was because that's the question that was asked.
Right.
I tend to actually, because I am a day trader, and because I use algorithms, I basically my premise is that in order, I think, to really trade in today's futures markets, you need to remove the human factor. And I think that when we start adding our own, views and things like that, then we can tend to get ourselves in trouble, at least day trading futures. So one of my premises, and I've actually written about it, is that when I step into the market, if somebody were to tell me or ask me what's the fair value of crude oil, I would say I have no idea, nor do I care. I basically don't care about the who, what, where, when, or why. All I care about is the volatility. And so I'm looking for volatile moves. So the algorithms that I use are set up to identify trends. Now, having said that, that trend might be 30 seconds, a minute and a half, maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe it will be an hour. But I am not a swing trader. I no longer, I still carry positions, but in terms of my day-to-day trading, it's exactly that. It's day trading. So you're coming in fresh every day. You're able to assess what the market has done overnight and then determine how you want to trade that on that particular day. So I don't care, what level the market's at or anything of that nature. I just care about, getting a signal to buy or sell, and that I get my follow through, and that it actually produces the move that I'm looking for.
That makes sense. And to back you up there on that one of the things we've done a lot of work on this year at InvestiQuant is auto trading. So for intraday trading, just like you do, and like you say, it's very difficult for a human to be able to recognize an edge and take advantage of it at speed. Right. And so we've got a lot of edges that we're looking at InvestiQuant, and you might have trades going off in a number of different securities, or a number of different with a number of different stop or target levels all at the same time, and it just can't be managed
right.
By typing in orders. So right. I've had this year has been the first time that I've really instituted auto trading for myself, and I found it to be great value. So I hear where you're coming from.
Thank you. I think to add to that, I think what a lot of traders, even people that are beginning to trade and they want to jump into futures, what I think people need to understand is that there are so many HFT firms, and they're all running algorithms, and those algorithms are triggering off of different things. It could be option traders. So it could be an option trade, and they're just hedging the trade with the future or with the underlying. And because they're doing such incredible size, it adds to the volume and to the volatility that we as a day trader want to see, which is basically why I come back and say you can't care about the who, what, where, when, or why. Because we don't know why a particular buyer comes in and they need 100 or 200 or 300 futures.
Right.
Depending on which market that you're going in, you just have no idea. So I don't want to base my decision to buy or sell on why somebody else is doing it. because once they're done with the trade, they're on to the next trade, which might be they need to sell 500 futures. How do we know? So that's just to kind of add to when you're working with an algorithm and that algorithm is throwing out buy or sell signals, and you have an auto trader that is actually going to fire off an order based on that signal.
Right. Instead of trying to sit there and make sense of it and then fumble around with it.
But by the time you make the sense of it, it's usually the trade's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
All right, let's move on to question number 4. I'm going to mix up the order so that we're not going in the same up and down each time. Let's start with Fausto. To know who or what first inspired you to become a trader?
That's a great question. Well, if I wrote a book, it's called How to Beat Market Makers at Their Own Game, and in one of the first thing in my chapter of my book, I do talk specifically on that. And who really inspired me is I was a stockbroker. I hated it. I realized I was a glorified salesperson, but one thing that did inspire me is that I saw the people that had the most convenient job in the world were the traders in the office, and they had and they looked like a lot of fun. I was very good with numbers, but really who inspired me was that I was working with my sister, and we both quit our jobs and we went to go out there and started trading. And back then, I don't know if you remember, they had like Daytech, E-Trade was back then. She was a little bit smarter than me, believe it or not, because she took a job as a trader, and me as an egotistical guy, I needed anyone to teach me, and I went out to do it myself. And what happened was I was sitting at the dinner table with her, and she was telling me, stocks she was trading, and she was telling me she was trading on Instinet, and did I have level 2 quotes, and did you see Goldman Sachs selling this stock? And meanwhile, I was just giggling away, with that dumb look on my face, like I knew she was talking about. But then it came to when she was driving a nicer car than me, that couldn't happen, that my sister was driving a nicer car. And I says, okay, listen, I threw it the white flag. I said, Tina, who's actually, what are you doing? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. What are you doing? And she was very nice about it, surprisingly. And she invited me to come to see her boss at the time was Frank Ferrara, and I went to school with these people, and never thought about what it was like to be in a real true professional trading room. And let me tell you what I learned on the first day on the job, just like with all my students, I tell them the same story. I wish I never made my first trade. I deserved every complete loss that happened to me, because what happened was when I not only was she driving a nicer car than me, but I was losing money. I blew up 2 accounts, and listen, but I love what I do. I just, the money didn't matter because I knew people were very successful at trading. So it was between her and her mentor, and who I actually went to school with at the time, and that's how I got into it, and that's why I had a passion to it. And let me tell you, it didn't take me that long to learn how to do it. But one thing I did learn, which I tell to everyone, I know listeners out there too, and everyone here will probably say the same thing: free in trading. The only thing is free is the cheese in the mousetrap. If you think you're going to get free education, learning on YouTube, you're in the wrong business. The reason why I never went out there and learned, because at the time I was paying for level 2 quotes $800 a month, and I thought that was absurd. And people were like, well, I got it for free. Yeah, well, that's what it's worth. So there's things you got to pay for in this world, and that's what I think I learned most than anything. Not just having a mentor, but knowing I had to pay for education and pay for having certain tools. And if you think you're going to go out there and get stuff for free, listen, I tell everyone, whatever money you got invested, add about another 20-30% on top of that, because that will be gone too. It's an 80-90% failure rate, and just don't be ignorant. But those were my mentors, and that's who got me into it. And like I told you, and it was all because I lost money, and that's where it came about. So that's my story.
All right, great. I like it. Simon, how about you? Who or what first inspired you to become a trader?
Hi, as I said, I started my professional career in Credit Suisse, and I worked on the trading floor. So it looked like an exciting place, exciting things going on, especially when the World Cup was on and almost no trading and phones going off then. And I remember those days. Everyone came in the kit, whatever country they were And so I was always intrigued about all these screens and these things flashing around. And then I started to do it for myself. And I placed my first trade as a professional trader. I took the Series 7 exam, and I was trading for a company called Generic Trading in Philadelphia. So my first trading account was $500,000. And I remember trading and placing my first trade. It was nerve-wracking. I didn't exactly know what I was doing, even though we went through training, and we were trading the specialist system. We were basically identifying on the tape what the specialist was doing, as he was the ultimate, or she was the ultimate day trader and knew what the order flow was. So we were basically watching and trying to identify what they were doing and doing it as well. But what happened was, as time went on, the New York Stock Exchange system went hybrid, the specialist system. So it was part computerized. So what we were doing didn't work anymore. So I was like, okay, back to the drawing board. This doesn't work. So so basically what I've done now is basically over the years have gone back to basic first principles of supply and demand and trying to identify where institutional buy and sell orders are in the market. So again, I spent years trying to look at fundamentals and earnings when I was trading the stock market, trying to see, what would happen on good earnings. Would the stock go up or down, and trying to see some pattern in that. I spent years and years. We used to come in before a few hours before the open every morning to go through all the news and earnings and upgrades and downgrades. I remember going through that. I used to keep copious spreadsheets on it. And I found after all that work, it didn't really pay up anything. So didn't really give me any edge in the market having that knowledge. I mean, we even paid for news feeds that we got a few minutes before everyone else, and that also didn't do it. So basically what I found is going back to first principles, identifying where, the trends of the market, and knowing how to do it with pinpoint accuracy once you have the way of doing it. Most people talk about trends, but they, again, ask them to explain when did the trend begin and when did it end, and what trend are we in on this time frame? And so what trend, we're in an uptrend on the daily chart, but downtrend on the 1 hour chart. How can that be?
Right.
And where does the trend end and when did it begin? People talk, oh, we're in an uptrend that's going up. Yeah, but tell me when it begins and tell me when it ends. Most people can't do that. So that's something I focused on, and something I do in my trainings, to tell people exactly, to teach people exactly, know objectively, not subjectively, exactly where a trend begins and ends. And also identifying areas of supply and demand, because the market moves between areas of supply and demand. As we say, the trend is your friend until the bend in the end.
So, all right, I don't know if I'd heard that one before. I like that.
So I've over the years happened to have the privilege of meeting up with other professional traders that are not running training programs. We just, we trained a group of traders. I think it was around 30 traders about 5 years ago, a group of us. And, that experience is incredible. It wasn't, it was an incredible experience to work with two other traders who are professional traders, but are not actually, they don't have websites. They're not training people for money, but, and we worked together. I don't even know how I got in contact with these people, but we did somehow. Our paths crossed, and we all helped each other to become much better traders, and the group of people that we actually worked with over the years.
All right, great. Let's move on to Mark. Let us know who or what first inspired you to become a trader, Mark.
Well, I was fairly early on in my career. I was running a division for ADP, Automatic Data Processing.
Yep.
And one of the offices that I managed was right in downtown Chicago. And every time I drove into that office, I would park in the parking garage, and in the elevator were all these guys from all these floor traders from the CBOE, Chicago Board of Trade. And I'd have conversations with them, and I'd overhear their conversations, and I was just a little intrigued by what they were doing. And I was looking for, at the time, what I described as a hobby, and just kind of thinking about this. And then one day in my stack of mail, like so often I used to get back then, was a invitation from Larry Williams, a very well-known futures commodities trader.
Yeah.
And he was offering me an opportunity to come to his seminar, and I thought, hey, I'm going to go do this. Maybe I can learn a little bit about what these guys that I see in the elevator all the time are doing. And so I did that and had a great experience because the first 5 trades I placed were all winners. And I thought, oh my God, this is so easy. This is about as easy as you could ever want to do. And so I started really digging into it. And then I blew up an account because I realized it wasn't as easy as I had lulled myself into thinking. But that's when I had this aha moment. So Larry Williams plus all these anonymous for traders kind of inspired me to go get started. But then I had this aha moment, and I realized that although I actually loved what I did, I really enjoyed the job that I had, at some point in my life, I wanted to have lifestyle freedom. I wanted to break out and just be completely independent and have an abundant income from wherever I chose to live. And so I really dug in and started to learn how to trade futures and commodities. And then I shifted to options trading. And I've really, in the last 15 years or so, really focused on options trading. And that's how I got to where I am. And I've blended my early learning experiences of what not to do into what I teach my clients to avoid some of those same mistakes. But also there was a big opportunity while I was at ADP as I ran a learning and development organization for a short period of time, and we learned a lot about adult learning. And so I've blended that into Options Moneymaker because there are some very specific approaches that you can use to teach options traders how to be successful. And you can focus on eliminating all the stuff that really doesn't make any difference. Yes.
I'm sorry, we're getting a little short on time. I do want to come back to you and let you talk about Options Moneymaker at the very end.
No worries.
But,
go ahead.
We need to kind of get through this question. So let me go to Michael. Michael, can you just tell us about what first inspired you to become a trader, or who it was, I guess?
2 things. I went to university in Chicago, and whenever I would get a break, I would walk around the corner, go down Dearborn, and I'd end up at the Chicago Board of Trade. And I'd go up into the visitors gallery, and I would watch soybeans, corn, and wheat. The pits were right there. And the energy just grabbed me. So that's what got me interested in actually being on a floor to trade. But I would say that the person who inspired me was Robert Prechter, and that's who I learned Elliott wave theory from and with. And actually it was Robert Prechter and Dan Ascani. And Dan and I became very good friends and did a lot of work together. And so that enabled me, by learning Elliott wave and then really applying it, that was my inspiration, because now I could identify trend, and I also could identify and put some probabilities on expectations for moves.
Yep. Okay, interesting. For me, it wasn't. I think my initial interest in trading was inspired by the likes of like Gordon Gekko and Alex Keaton. And then after that, when I was in college, I got an internship trading overnight Fed funds. Actually, I wasn't trading them. I was working on the floor where, and I was the guy that wrote the bids and offers down on a big marker board. This is well before electronic trading. And the traders would yell out their bids and offers, and I'd write them down. But that got me into the pit, onto the floor, and I felt the energy and liked the action, and that was what initially gave me my interest in trading. So what I want to do quickly, as we're getting low on time here, I do want to go through and give each of you guys a chance to just let us know anything that might be going on at your sites, how we might be able to get in touch with you, and if you have a specific trade idea that you might want to share for this upcoming week, that'd be great. So why don't we start with Michael?
Again, I have a website. It's logicalsignals.com. And if people could come in and take a look, they look at what I'm doing, what I offer. Again, right now, what's on offer is one of my auto traders. And it's basic, so it's easy, it's totally customizable. And I offer, if you purchase the auto trader, I give one-on-one instruction and really go over helping people understand how to set this up, how to use it, and how to fit it into their own trading style, their account size, and risk management. So that all is part of what I offer out. And so what's really on offer right now is the trade room itself. People can come in, they can see what I do, they can follow my trades, they can call out their own trades. That's what the room is all about. Again, offer coaching. So basically you can find all that information and more information in more detail on my website.
Great, thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
Fausto, how about you?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me again, and everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed the presentation. Is to find out a little bit more about Cyber Trading University. Basically, what I do is, we have a professional trading room and a teaching room. We have a full staff of instructors. We're all working together like a team. And if you'd like to come and just sample it, just to see what day trading's about and what we're looking at and what we're trading, and and how to get a piece of it, and most importantly, to see if it's for you, because it's not for everybody. Just come and join. You go to ctu.co.com, short version, or Cyber Trading University, or give us a call. Come check it out. Listen, everybody wants to know. Nobody believes people make money in this business of trading, and you know what? I agree with them. Because not everyone does. But if you want to see what it's like, listen. Not only me, but everyone that's here. Sample a little bit of everything. I tell everyone you should learn a little bit about futures, forex, options, stock, day trading, swing trading. See what fits within your schedule. Learn from the best in the industry, and then definitely make that investment to take the time to learn it. But to learn more about it, just like I said, come visit us at cybertradinguniversity.com. And thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Fausto. Simon, how about you? Anything you want to tell us? Special offers or anything going on at tradesmartforex.com, or how people might be able to get a hold of you?
Sure. People can get a hold of me via my website, I guess, or they can email me at simon@tradesmartforex.com with the number 4 and then X. We have an offer at the moment for people. It's not available except generally through webinars and through mediums like this. Showing on my screen at the moment. You can go to this link. I think Rob's going to post that. Not Rob. David's going to post that with the YouTube video, so you can actually come in and actually learn how to read the trade using pivot analysis, and get it at a special price that's available only for people in this medium or through webinars. If you want to learn how to read the trend objectively, I'll also offer as well, if you would like to chat with me where you are in your own personal trading journey, and we can see how we could possibly help you to move forward on that journey. We can identify where you are and give you some steps to help you move forward on your journey to become a successful trader, which is what most people would like to do. Once you are a successful trader, then you have the freedom and lifestyle that most people are attracted to trading for. But again, you can't do that before you start the journey. And wherever you are on that journey, you have to know how to continue forward and keep the momentum. And you have to really enjoy it as well. Otherwise, you may end up dropping out before you finally get to your destination. So enjoy the journey. And as all of you out there, everyone on this webinar as well,
okay, great.
One last point. When you look back at your journey and the difficulties that all of us went through to get there, that's what gives you a sense of satisfaction when you finally become a successful trader. All the hurdles and everything you had to go through. So having someone to mentor you through that and help you go through that, and cheer you on, so to say, and help you get to that the end line. That's sometimes what people need. So thank you very much for having me, and good luck, all of you.
Okay, terrific. So people can check out that that link that you saw on the screen, and like you said, it'll be shared later as well.
Okay.
Mark, any last things you want to tell us about optionsmoneymaker.com?
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. At Options Moneymaker, we try to focus on helping newer traders learn how to trade options. So we'll work with brand new people who don't know anything about options, but also people who have some experience trading options, and maybe they're not having the level of success that they would like to achieve. So our Profit Builder program is really focused on that. It's a $695 program for 6 months, and we provide a daily 20 to 30-minute education video every single market day. And we really believe passionately that the way to learn is through each and every market day, not take a course for 2 days or read a book and then try to go out and trade. So it's optionsmoneymaker.com, and if people have questions, they might want to direct specifically to me. They can reach me at mark@optionsmoneymaker.com. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
All right, thank you, Mark. Good getting to talk to you. Again, this is Rob Hanna, and you can find me at quantifiableedges.com or investaquant.com. Both of them, you're able to go in and check out some free trials. So check out the sites, and I will be having a webinar next week. I think on Tuesday. I'll try and get out a notification to everybody. But you can go on the investaquant.com site and see that. But next Tuesday we'll be doing a webinar specifically tailored to swing trading and the Swing Navigator nightly newsletter that I produce. That's based off of the Swing Edges product, where we produce odds for all the indices and ETFs and stocks that we track in our database. So look forward to seeing some of the people listening here, hopefully most, next week, and that'll be next Tuesday, I think it's going to be. And that's it. David, thank you for having me. It was great getting to talk to all the guests again, and I'm out.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Great show. Just want to remind everyone who's watching, please be sure to hit the YouTube subscribe button if you haven't yet to get updates on future shows. Also, you can go to TimingResearch.com to download any of the past reports or watch any of the past shows. Be sure to join us next week. Steve Lentz, Jim Kenny, and Dean Jenkins will be back. And so just want to thank my guests again for this week. Mark Dannenberg of OptionsMoneymaker.com, Simon Klein of TradeSmartForex.com, Fausto Pugliese of CyberTradingUniversity.com, Michael Filighera of LogicalSignals.com, and Rob Hanna of InvestaQuant.com. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.